Hi everyone, welcome back to Pneumanosophy Academy. I'm Lewis. Today I'm going to be thinking about religious truth claims. When I talk about religious truth claims, I'm not trying to ascertain whether they are true or not, although I'm sure some of my bias may slip through the net. Rather, I'm just talking about the nature of religious truth claims and the kind of different categories of religious truth claims. This whole kind of theory of religious truth claims was taught and advanced by the British philosopher of religion, John Hick. So I will be kind of drawing upon his work in going through some of this stuff. The first thing to point out is that we all have truth claims in play. You know, whether you're religious or not, whether you're spiritual or not, we all have a worldview. We all have a particular lens through which we are, viewing and interpreting the world around us. And so that entails us having, particular kind of truth claims that we're kind of seeing the world through, that we're operating under. And when it comes to religious truth claims or beliefs, there's a lot of people that like to imagine that we can draw a sharp distinction between facts, what we all as society can collectively agree upon are the facts, and what the beliefs of individuals are. You'll have people say, let's just agree on the facts, and you can have your beliefs within your own kind of private sphere, and I won't interfere with them. Of course, if you're having a conversation with someone, a debate with someone, you're going to want to kind of find the common ground. You're going to want to, discover what so-called facts you do both agree on, so you can kind of build up from there. But speaking more generally, it's just impossible to make that distinction. Where do you draw that line between beliefs and facts? We're too much a product of our culture. We're too much a product of our religion. We're too much a product of our own unexamined assumptions. Here as Westerners in the 21st century. I always think this when I'm watching like a period film or series or something. If it's set in like 19th century or if it's set in the medieval times, the people portrayed always think and kind of understand the world as if they were, white Western middle class people. It's completely unbelievable.
Someday I'll be a knight.
A Thatcher's son? A knight? You might as well try to change the stars.
Can it be done, Father? Can a man change the stars?
Yes, William. If he believes enough, a man can do anything.
And I think all that kind of just goes to show that getting ourselves into the mindset of someone with a completely alien set of presuppositions, different kind of religious ideas, different cultural ideas in play, and kind of seeing the world through their eyes is really difficult. That is a really difficult task because, all the kind of facts and all the beliefs just kind of all bleed together. Where is the line? There is no line. So, for example, take Mormonism, for example. Within the Book of Mormon, the Lamanites, a tribe of Israel, of course, sail across, make their home in the New World. Now, is that an historical fact? Well, we would probably think not. You probably don't think so if you're watching this channel. But that just is accepted as a historical fact, right? If you are a Mormon. So you can't even agree on what the historical facts are. So in thinking about, the different types of religious truth claims, this is kind of the first one, the historical religious truth claim. And, the Lamanites, the Mormon example, would be an example of that, where, you just can't agree on what the historical facts are. Another example might be if you take Christian conservatives, right? They believe in the bodily resurrection of Jesus, okay? But they understand that as an historical fact. Okay? Meaning that if I was to get into my time machine, you can't see it because it's off camera, and I was to kind of get in there and go back to first century Palestine, and I was to sit there after, Jesus has been buried in the tomb, I would actually be able to watch him walk out of the tomb, right? Because it is an historical fact. But it's obviously an historical fact which is, baked into the Christian faith. You're not going to find anyone that's not a Christian that just accepts that, obviously, as a fact, right? It's part of that worldview. The next example of a religious truth claim is what is called trans-historical truth claims. So these are questions which have in principle a correct answer, but it just doesn't matter how much historical evidence we have. There's no way of ascertaining whether that is true or not. So for example, the universe, right? Does the universe have a beginning or is it eternal, right? So depending on what kind of religious or tradition you come from, that is going to vary. Okay, so within kind of Orthodox Christianity, the universe, of course, does have a beginning, right? God created it ex nihilo. In Mormonism, that's less clear. But then in some kind of Hindu strands of thought, the universe is eternal. And with all of these, you have kind of the literal end and the metaphorical end. Within all religions, within all Christian denominations, the kind of more liberal way of understanding this versus the more conservative or fundamentalist way of understanding this. So, if we're taking a particular trans-historical claim, we can ask, whether it's true or false kind of mythologically, or you could ask whether it's true or false factually, right? And of course, you can have trans-historical truth claims, which are mythologically true, right, for the adherents, but are factually false. Okay, so that's kind of the two categories of religious truth claims. As we move into the conclusion, though, that John Hick draws out, that's where I do start to disagree. I have his book here, An Interpretation of Religion, Human Responses to the Transcendent, and this is kind of his magnum opus. This is where he kind of brings together all the kind of disparate theories within his work and lays it out within a single volume. So although I do think what John Hick does is he lays out a very helpful way to think about religious truth claims, John Hick was ultimately advancing a kind of a pluralist religious worldview, of a certain form. He believed that he believed in the kind of all roads lead to God type model, that all religious traditions were all authentic responses to transcendent reality. And basically what John Hick allows himself to do is he allows his own truth claims to kind of infect the way he reads and understands the truth claims of others. So, when you really get down to it, John Hick believes that all these kind of truth claims being made by different religions, which of course by nature contradict one another, right? You cannot after death both be reincarnated and go to heaven, right? But he thinks that these kind of religious truth claims at a superficial level contradict, but when you go deeper and you kind of get to the kind of perennial heart of the kind of world religious traditions, that there you find a kind of fundamental commonality. Right there at the core of things is love, is truth, is hope. Now, of course, on one hand, it's fine for John Hick to believe that. He can obviously, believe whatever truth claim he wants. But I think it's a bad way of thinking about and exploring other religious systems, because he's kind of just muddying the water. He's never really hearing what is being said by other religious groups, because he's always trying to kind of fit those beliefs, those systems, into his own kind of meta system. And in this way, he really does kind of fall into the modernist fallacy, that there can be this kind of all-explaining, all-encompassing meta-narrative. You know, it just goes into this kind of idea that if only we dig deep enough, if only we get down to the kind of fundamental core at the heart of all, you know, these religious systems, that, you know, there you will find the unifying kind of core principle at the center of it all. And I don't ascribe to that kind of belief. I am much more postmodernist in my sensibilities. You know, as they say, eschew the meta-narrative. I don't believe that there can be this this complete system which ties up all the loose ends and, you know, makes sense in a totalizing way of the human condition. I suppose you could say that that's my bias coming through, but I think in this case that bias, that, you know, postmodernist sensibility, allows me or equips me to actually be able to hear the religious truth claims of the other. You know, I'm not trying to you know, wrestle them into heaven by way of the back door, you know, through some kind of convoluted meta system. I'm just seeking to understand. Okay, so that is my introduction to John Hick's theory of truth claims. Thanks for watching. Cheers to my Patreon supporters. As always, your support is very much appreciated. If you enjoy this content, please do like this video. If you can think of anyone that might appreciate this content, please do share it with them. Subscribe, click the bell so you don't miss out on future content. Cheers again, and I will see you in the next one.